Hello, 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 everybody. It is Countess back with another video for you guys. And as always, I hope it finds you well. So, in this video, I thought we could go over archetypes. And this is in the spirit of a deck that I have by Kim Krans, and it's just called the Archetypes deck. Beautiful round cards that have a lot of different beautiful archetypes and energies and qualities on the cards. So I thought we could, take a look at this deck in relation to continuing sort of tarot readings on the Beatles. I thought we could do an archetype spread for each Beatle in a separate video and kind of go through the cards that I pull. I'm going to pull up, I have the digital download copy of the guidebook for this deck, so I thought we could look and see what she has to say the cards mean, because she is the one who put together this deck, and it's very, very fun to play with. It's very interesting as well. Very deep and spiritual and esoteric, which is all fun stuff that we love here on this channel, right? Okay, so let's take a look at archetype. So arc plus type equals the original of its kind, the first image, the inherited emerging pattern, and the initial and eternal energy. Archetypes origin. Where do archetypes come from? You can't spend too much time with this question before stumbling across the work of psychologist Carl Gustav Jung. Though Jung was the first to develop and integrate the concept of archetypes into the world of psychology and healing, he would also be the first to acknowledge he had nothing to do with their origin. Even he was perplexed by the notion of their source. When did they begin? From what source do they originate? What are their intentions? Enchanted by these unanswerable questions, Jung devoted his life's work to studying archetypes within his patients, himself, and the world. First, he called them primordial images, a term that suggests that they come from the beginning, beyond the beginning. It also implies that they are related to images and the imagination. So an important aspect we'll delve into in a moment. Soon, though, Jung landed on the word archetype, and it stuck. Though both terms offer a unique peek into these mysterious dynamics, archetype is an especially wonderful choice, as arc means first, and type means model or kind. The name itself implies that these energies have been swirling since the beginning of time and are inherent in our very existence. They cannot be suppressed, denied, hidden, gotten rid of, or fixed, no matter how hard we try. We inherit them from the very universe, and they express themselves through us. They belong. So which archetype is the first archetype? Some may say that that is the mother. It is possible she has always been there. From her, everything derives. Yet others might say the nothing is the archetype from which everything emerges. Some might say it is the seed, which contains all of life's potentials. Others might say it began with the One, and they may name that the power of God, Goddess, universal intelligence, cosmic consciousness, or something of that sort. The point is, as soon as we name something Mother, we have consciously or not established something else that is not Mother. We come to see that there is the one birthing and the one being born. This moment can be thought of as the origin of archetypal energy. When oneness comes to be understood more deeply through its separation into parts, the mother and the child, the nothing and the something, the heaven and the earth, the self and the other. Origin stories across cultures reflect this primordial separation. They are infinite and everywhere. A few favorites are Shiva's dance of creation, the Zen concept of the original faiths, the Popol Vuh, and the Book of Genesis. In these narratives, you will find images that resonate deeply with the archetypes in the deck. Humans have long been grappling with naming, understanding, harnessing, and developing the archetypes that surround and inhabit us. This is one of our oldest and most universal tasks, to build relationship with the multitude of dynamics in ourselves and the world. We do it whether we know the word is archetype or not. As soon as we exit the womb and the cord is snipped, we become separate from the mother. We begin our own journey as the child who longs to know the self. We can't help it. The cosmic drama begins and never quite ends. Okay, so the archetype. Let us speak of the imaginal. What does that mean? Where is it? Though these questions defy answering, the simplest way to put it is that the imaginal is the realm of poetry, images, metaphor, and the imagination. It is the deep mystery where everything is possible. Please note that it is the imaginal, not the imaginary. The latter term implies it is not real. The existence of the imaginal, however, is quite palpable here on earth. When the two worlds collide, they take the form of chills while hearing a poem or song, a tear that rolls down the cheek when you least expect it, a synchronicity that confounds explanation, a night sky that is beyond comprehension or description. The imaginal is where the archetypes roam, waiting for us to visit. So, here are the qualities. So what is an archetype? To find your footing on the slippery dance floor of archetypal energy, here is a helpful checklist of qualities. Below are the defining characteristics of all archetypes. Archetypes are patterns. From the messy chaos of life, certain key images, tendencies, and personalities inevitably surface, with or without our conjuring them. These are archetypes. Archetypes are universal. Certain dynamics are so powerful that they appear in every culture, crossing every boundary we've constructed. If it's everywhere, it's an archetype. In this way, archetypes unite us in the experience of being human. Archetypes are timeless. Archetypes may come in new images, iterations, and forms, yet their energy has been circulating since the beginning. There are no new archetypes, yet there are infinite new ways the eternal archetypes express themselves. Archetypes are infinite. We can't simply prune them into tidy short lists or card decks of 78 without missing multiple gems. Since they evoke creative energy, they are as unlimited as certain as creation itself. Though some may be more popularized than others, there are always more to bring into consciousness. Archetypes contain both light and dark. Sound familiar? It is the contrast that makes archetypes dynamic, complex, inherently unknowable, and they are forces big enough to hold duality. If something has only a good side, it is not an archetype. Or, more accurately stated, it is not yet being perceived through an archetypal lens. Archetypes use image. Archetypal energy wants to reach us, and perhaps the most reliable way it can do this is through image. An archetype may choose any potent channel available to it: song, word, memory, poem, dream, painting, story, nature, another person, etc. This is why art is so compelling. It is built on archetypes. And last but not least, even though archetypes use images, no image can ever fully capture the archetype. Another way of saying this is these cards will never quite do the archetypes justice. They simply can't. They are too small in scope and too contained. Since archetypes are about potential energy, there is no way to capture them fully. In other words, any image of the mother cannot fully express all that is the mother. Archetypes and their intentions. What do archetypes want? What do they intend for us? Well, it seems archetypes ask many things of us. They ask us to stretch our minds and hearts beyond their limits and have a particular knack for getting us to do so. They confuse, conjure, contradict, and complicate. Don't be discouraged if you feel as though you understand them less as you study them more. This means you are draw us in toward the power of the unknowable. What follows are just a few ways they do this, but there are surely more. They insist on the imagination. Archetypes move us from the literal to the mythic. They do this by getting us out of our heads and into the space of dreams, emotions, and imagination. We may feel like we are swimming or under a spell when we first start to work with the cards. This is a sign that they are working their magic on us. We spend so much time in our egoic, rational, intellectual headspace that dropping into the sensuous dreams and longings of our soul can be wonderful and unsettling. Relax as much as possible and let the images do their work. Archetypes insist on multiplicity. Archetypes move us from the one to the multiple, from the right way to the many ways. They prefer potentials over answers, collaboration over convention, dynamism over singularity, and inclusion over rejection. In this way, they challenge us to expand our sense of self to include what we had previously rejected. Archetypes will bring the grotesque, unlovable parts of ourselves and our culture to the dinner table so that we can get to know them. Archetypes throw the wildest of dinner parties and everyone's invited. Archetypes insist on the collective. At their core, archetypes tie us back to the collective. In studying the mother, it's possible for us to look beyond our biography and sense the mother in our culture, in history, and in myth. As soon as we step outside the drama of our story and see how it is a thread woven into the fabric of the story, we are looking through an archetypal lens. The power in this method is that we build understanding and compassion for the world as we build understanding and compassion for ourselves. It's an infinite win-win. And why do archetypes insist on these things? Because they want us to grow. The challenges and wonders the archetypes present to us move us towards our growth edge, toward the unknown, toward a deeper and more creative experience of life. They captivate our minds and hearts, so we are compelled to take the next step on our inner quest. So, real quick, the difference between archetypes and stereotypes. Archetypes live in the big, beautiful cosmos, swirling with potential. Stereotypes live in a small box with a tight lid. Let's imagine we pass someone on the street. When we stereotype, we reduce them. We make assumptions, limit, judge, assess, and decide. We misunderstand their complexity. We think we know their story. Most devastatingly, we deem ourselves as separate. No need to listen, no need to learn. This is done unconsciously, out of fear. With stereotypes come the pain of contradiction. If, however, we relate to this person archetypally, we become curious. We see coexisting potentials within them. We see their struggle and their shine. We realize they are unknowable and multi-layered. We begin to relate, reveal, heal, connect. We see ourselves in them and them in us. All this can happen within a split second without their knowing. With archetypes comes the freedom of expansion. Everything belongs. Yes. So that is just Miss Kim Krans' summation of archetypes and in relation to this beautiful deck of cards. So in the next video, I thought we could start with John Lennon's archetype. So please join me and we'll do a spread and see if we can get any more insight into Mr. Lennon and who he represents archetypally in the Beatles. So join me then. I look forward to it, guys. Have a wonderful, lovely day. Bye.